They say the last train always carries more than just passengers. It carries whispers. And if you're unlucky enough to hear them, you're already too late. The clock above the platform read 2:47 a.m. The city was asleep, the streets above empty, but down here, it didn't feel empty at all. The dim fluorescent lights flickered, buzzing faintly, like nervous teeth chattering. I was standing in the depths of an abandoned subway station that hadn't been in use for over 30 years. Officially, it had been sealed off due to structural safety concerns. Unofficially, people said it was cursed. The air smelled of rust, damp concrete, and something faintly metallic, like old blood. Every footstep echoed far too long, bouncing off the tiled walls in a way that didn't seem right. I wasn't alone. Our small documentary team was with me, carrying cameras, microphones, and more bravery than sense. We were here to film a special episode about the ghosts of this station. But even before we started rolling, the place was already breathing down our necks. Somewhere deep in the tunnel, a sound rattled. It was faint at first, like someone dragging a heavy piece of metal along the tracks. We froze. The sound stopped, and then it came again. Closer. We turned on our flashlights, beams cutting through the suffocating dark. The tunnel stretched endlessly, swallowed in black, but I could swear something just stepped back into the shadows as the light touched it. "Did you see that?" one of my crew whispered. I nodded slowly, though I wished I hadn't. A gust of freezing wind blew past us, though no train had passed in decades. The temperature dropped so sharply that our breath came out in pale clouds. The wind carried something else, voices, not loud, but close. Whispering in a language I couldn't understand, syllables curling like smoke in the air. We pressed forward into the tunnel. The walls were covered in strange marking scratches, like claws dragged across tile. Some were deep enough to gouge the concrete beneath. I ran my fingers over them. My skin prickled as if something beneath the surface was moving. The sound of footsteps joined us. At first we thought it was just one set, then two, then more. They fell into rhythm with ours, perfectly timed. But when we stopped, they didn't. They kept walking and walking and walking until they stopped right behind us. I turned. No one. One of our cameras began glitching, the screen fizzing with static, but in the distortion, I saw shapes. Dark silhouettes. Dozens of them. Standing in the tunnel, watching us. Their heads all tilted at the exact same angle, eyes glimmering faintly like shards of glass. The whispering grew louder, overlapping voices until it was almost deafening. My ears rang, my chest tightened. One of the crew dropped their camera and clutched at their throat. I could see their breath quicken, frost forming on their lips. And then the lights went out. Pitch black, no sound except the slow creak of metal bending and the unmistakable rumble of a train. But this station had no power. The rumble grew louder, the ground vibrating beneath us. I could hear wheels screeching against rails, a train's horn blaring in the distance. But when the light came back, the train wasn't arriving from the tunnel, it was already here. It stood completely still on the tracks, coated in dust and grime. Its windows were shattered, doors half open, and inside, movement. Figures shuffled slowly between the carriages, their outlines flickering, as if they weren't entirely there. Against every instinct, we stepped closer. The air grew colder with every footstep. One of the doors creaked open, revealing a long, dim interior that smelled like damp and decay. The seats were torn, graffiti covered the walls, but the shadows in the corners seemed too solid. And then one of them moved. A tall, thin figure emerged, its skin pale and stretched tight, eyes nothing but deep pits. It tilted its head at us, and then, impossibly fast, it was inches away from my face. A whisper seeped from its mouth, low rattling, like a voice from beneath the ground. Last stop. Suddenly, everything happened at once. The train doors slammed shut, the horn screamed, and the carriage began to move, dragging us into the darkness. The windows outside showed nothing but black, yet the train was shaking violently, as though traveling at impossible speed. The figures inside the carriage began to approach, their faces twisting, mouths stretching wide as if to swallow the light from our flashlights. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My body felt heavy, as if the air itself was pressing against me. The lights flickered once, twice, then went out completely. When they came back, I was standing alone on the platform. The train was gone. My crew was gone. My breath fogged the air, but the whisper remained. It came from all around me.